We have some major injury updates coming ahead of Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Dallas Mavericks here for the Oklahoma City Thunder, along with the OKC Thunder's game plan to eventually take this series and make it to the Western Conference finals here on Thunder Digest. What up, it's Bryson Akins. We got another video for you guys today. Instead of a subscriber count or, the ratio of how many of you guys subscribe watching the videos are, I'm going to just bring up real quick and remind you guys, tonight we have a live stream with Mavericks Digest covering the game, live updates, live scores, all the good stuff that you want if you want to listen to us, hear our opinions on what's going on. It should be a fun one. Me and Marcel have a great time over there. So if you're trying to watch, it's going to be right before game time and everything. My guess would be 30 minutes before. Just keep on refreshing on Mavericks Digest, and you'll see us on there. Go ahead, watch the live stream tonight. We'll go ahead and get in this video now. Now, as you guys saw in the title, in the thumbnail, we have some major updates ahead of tonight's game. And the big one being Luka Doncic's injury, and this could be the biggest matchup of the year, as Dort, the torture chamber, will be on a hobbled, injured Luka Doncic, who is probable for tonight's game. It's more likely he will be playing. But when you look at it, look how he looks right here just now. Look at all that tape on that knee. That's not a great sign at all. Whether you're a Mavericks fan, Thunder fan, or a fan of just any other team in the league, when you see that amount of tape on a player's knee, you know it's not looking good for that player, especially if they're going to push through and play on that. You know that's just an injury waiting to happen. That's an ACL tear waiting to happen. And so it's really going to come down to game time before every single game. If the Mavericks are going to risk their star player's health and one of the greatest players in the world right now for a game, for a Western Conference semifinals, because ACL tear, it's the knee. That's one of the worst body parts that you can get injured, probably the worst, especially as a basketball player, as so much happens through your legs. You don't want to see that kind of injury happening on any player. But if he does play, we have the matchup waiting for him, as you can see here. Thunder head coach Mark Daigneaut on preparing to defend Luka. Just make sure Dort is on time for the game. That's his game plan. That is his defensive game plan here for the whole series, really. And we kind of knew Dort was going to be on Luka the whole time. We kind of had an idea that's what it was going to look like. But you also got to worry about some of their other players, which we'll talk at a later point in this video in a few minutes here. But we're going to focus on this Luka-Dort matchup if Luka does play, because if not, if Luka's not playing, then Dort's going to be on Kyrie, no doubt about that. That'd be the best matchup then. But when Luka's on the court, it'll be Dort on him, and this is what an ESPN article had to say. Dallas advanced past the first round despite its MVP candidate enduring a shooting slump. We'll also talk about that in our second part here. Now Doncic has to deal with Dort, a brick wall with quick feet, and one of the league's premier on-ball defenders. Dort is fresh off bullying New Orleans Brandon Ingram in the Thunder first-round sweep. But Doncic is a much tougher challenge as a rare elite offensive creator who can match Dort's brute strength. Doncic very well, that's nice and everything, looking at his numbers against the Thunder this season. But when an advanced stats player tracking, Doncic scored 20 points on 8 of 14 shooting when Dort was his primary defender, including 4 of 8 from three-point range. And so as you can see there, when Dort was on Luka, he only scored 20 points total in those two games. However, Doncic's three-point touch abandoned him in the first round as he made only 23.9% of his long-range attempts against the Clippers. He especially struggled after spraining his knee during the first quarter of Game 3, going 7 of 41 on threes in the final 4 games of the series. And so, as you can see there, the injury is definitely affecting him. And having Dort on him either is no easy task for Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. Dort, one of the best defenders in the league, definitely who I believe is the best on-ball defender when you look at how he plays, how physical, how much he stays in front of his opponents. It's going to be tough for Luka to actually go out there and create shots, especially if he's hobbling around and he's playing on an injured knee. It says it's sprained right now, but a sprain could eventually lead to something worse, especially if you're pushing yourself on that knee. So it wouldn't surprise me if they play him, and if he does keep on pushing himself, I'm hoping this doesn't happen. You don't want this to happen to any player. Let's get that straight. But it could be a worse injury that could put him out for the entirety of the series. But if he keeps that in mind, and if Jason Kidd keeps that in mind, they'll give him limited numbers and tell him, like, hey, slow it down. Don't go out at your usual rate. Play it safe. And that's what opens up this Thunder team to really get ahead. And that's also going to be one of the key reasons and one of the key points on how Thunder can win the series based off of how they play defense. I know we're repeating what we did against New Orleans, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's simple, all right? It's that simple about it. The defense is going to be huge for us, and the efficiency in our shots and how many points we're putting up, because, if you score more points than the other team, of course you're going to win, but it depends how efficiently we shoot the ball. As you can see here from the Mavericks, here's what they have. In the first round matchup in 6 games, Luka was averaging 29.8 points per game, along with 8.8 rebounds and 9.5 assists on 3.7 turnovers right there. Not bad numbers at all. You would like the assist-to-turnover ratio be better if you're a Mavericks fan, but you also have Kyrie Irving backing him up. Their dynamic duo there, averaging 26.5 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists there, and 1.8 steals. But once again, 2.3 turnovers. Better numbers there, but once again, like I said, you want to see those numbers go down a little bit more. And so, as you can see there, their two guys are putting up numbers, no doubt about that. All right, they have a dynamic duo that is scary. That might be one of the best duos in the entirety of the league, if I'm being honest. That is a scary duo. You have Kyrie Irving, the best ball handler of all time. Then Luka Doncic, one of the best players in the world at the moment. That's scary to look at. But when you look at the other things going in these shooting numbers, you have to look at the efficiency. I love talking about efficiency every single time when you're looking at a player's shooting numbers and the amount of points he's scoring. As you can see there, Luka is averaging 10 for 25 from the field, 40% from the field, not bad at all, but it's the fact he's taken anywhere from 25 to 30 shots a game to get to his 30 points. That's not high efficiency. Then, like we mentioned, look at the three-point shooting numbers. 2 of 11 is his average in these games right now, shooting 23.9% from behind the arc, and then also from the free throw line, 83%. So it's not bad at all, his free throw numbers and his field goal shooting numbers, but it's his three-point numbers that are scary. Like I mentioned before, that might be the plan for Dort. Force him to take some three-point shots and prove that he can finally hit from three again, as he hasn't as of late. Then Kyrie Irving, who I think the matchup will be J-Dub on him, as he's been shooting lights out when you look at the efficiency numbers. 51% from the field, 44% from behind the arc. Those numbers are efficient, so I'm not necessarily worried about Luka Doncic per se. He's going to get his usual 25 a night, but he's also going to take 30 shots doing that. So I'm not worried about that at all. It's Kyrie Irving I'm worried about. It's how well do we match up against him? Because it's going to be Dub or Shai on him, if we're being honest. It's going to be one of those two guarding Kyrie Irving, and it just kind of depends what we limit him to. If he keeps getting these 25 to 30 a night, it's going to be a tough series, and it will go to 7 games. But if we can limit him to 20 and actually play good defense against him, then I think we can win in 5 or 6 games, no doubt about it. It just depends what we do with Kyrie Irving on the defensive side. And we also got to keep shooting efficiently and keep shooting well. As you can see here, our trio right here of Shai, J-Dub, and Chet, 27.3 points per game from Shai, along with 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1.5 steals and 2.5 turnovers. Like to see the turnover numbers get below 2, but it's fine. Along with J-Dub here, 21.3 points per game on 7.3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1.8 steals there as well, but 3 turnovers. The turnovers numbers are not great. And then Chet Holmgren, 15.3 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 2.8 blocks per game right there. The turnover numbers, not bad for him as a center at 2.3. Once again, though, I love to see the turnover numbers get below 2 if that's possible. But once again, the key thing about this is how efficient are we shooting the ball and how many shots is it taking to reach these numbers. And as you can see here, it's taken Shai 21 shots to get there. 10 of 21, 47.6% from the field, 29.4% from behind the arc. And so not the greatest numbers there either from behind the arc for Shai. But when you look at the other numbers, the other guys backing him up there, J-Dub shooting 52% from the field and 38% from behind the arc. That's amazing to see that. Then Chet as well, 46% from the field, 30% from behind the arc. I'd like to see his three-point shooting get a little bit better. But as you can see there, Shai, he doesn't have to just rely on his pure scoring, and it's not J-Dub or Chet either. Josh Giddey is averaging 12 points. Lu Dort's averaging 11. Our starting 5 is averaging 10 or more points so far in the playoffs, which is great to have. When you have that, I did the math. All right, I didn't do the math, but you can look at the numbers, and it's well over 80 points per game for us based off of our points just from our starting 5. And not to even mention our bench, which is the deepest in the league, I believe. Compared to Mavericks' bench, I think our bench is better. It just comes down to, can we stop Kyrie Irving, and can Luka actually play through his injury? That's what's going to be the key points for the Thunder if they want to win this series. is Luka going to be able to fight through this injury, and can we stop Kyrie Irving? Because if Luka doesn't play, it'll be Dort on Kyrie Irving, and I think it's clean wraps. I think it's barbecue chicken. I think we've got the series on lock if Luka isn't playing, and if he really does go down with an injury and can't play the series. But if he is, it's going to be tougher whether or not he's playing on injury, because then our second best defender is on Kyrie Irving, who's the best ball handler of all time, and so that's when it really gets tough. But that's all I got for this video, a little preview of what this series is going to look like, the little injury report on Luka, and then what the Thunder are going to do defensively and offensively. But that's all I got. Once again, like I mentioned, don't forget to tune in the stream tonight on Mavericks Digest. It should be a great time. Me and Marcel have a good dynamic duo going on over there. It's a great time. We have a great time in our usual streams that we did for that last game of the season with Mavs versus Thunder. But like I mentioned, if you enjoyed the content, though, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. We'll catch y'all in the next video.